The American chestnut blight was first identified in New York in 1904. About half a decade later, the tree, known as the Redwoods of the East, had become functionally extinct. 11 years ago, Boy Scout Troop 1885 out of Oak Hill began planting and maintaining hybrid American chestnut orchards in the Summit Bechtel Reserve. Hybrids contain the DNA of Chinese chestnuts and American chestnuts, the hope being to one day create a combination close to the American chestnut, but with blight resistance. Newswatch reporter Mike Teeney met with the troop in the reserve on Saturday for their fall planting and maintenance day.
Well, the Boy Scouts are a civic organization. They're always looking for community service projects. We're here at the Summit Bechtel Reserve, which is one of our high adventure base camps in scouting, and it's a perfect place to try and reintroduce the American chestnut. So when the original blight came through, it decimated the American chestnut. Some of those trees are still surviving by roots that periodically sprout back. The blight attacks the bark, causing a canker. As that canker spreads around the bark of the tree, if it gets all the way around, it girdles the tree, which stops the growth, killing the tree.
At one time, the American chestnut tree was the most important tree in the eastern half of the forest of the United States.
Well, the American chestnut was a 75 to 125 foot tall tree, straight grained, easy to work with wood, and was plentiful.
You hear it called wormy chestnut. It's very hardy. It doesn't rot very fast. In fact, you can go in the forest now and find stumps that were originally cut down over 100 years ago, 150 years ago, or they were felled in some other way, and you can still find those roots are viable and putting up shoots.
People are still finding shoots from the original chestnut trees in the woods that are coming back. They get to sexual maturity, they set nuts, the blight starts attacking them aggressively, they die back to that underground rootstock, and then 5 to 10 years later there's another crop of nuts. So by adding in these genetically diverse trees, and if there are wild chestnuts, which we have found 4 currently here on the Summit Bechtel Reserve, the old garden ground property, hopefully some of that genetic diversity is coming into these ones that we have, and maybe we'll get lucky and find that tree that makes it.
They are continually harvesting the pollen from these trees, creating hybrids that have some resistance, because the Chinese chestnut is not completely resistant to the blight itself.
So the American Chestnut Foundation provides all of the genetic material, the trees and the nuts that Troop 1885 uses here at the Summit Bechtel Reserve. We are looking at forming a chapter here in Fayette County of the American Chestnut Foundation. Troop 1885 did get asked to come and speak at the American Chestnut Foundation this year for West Virginia. We planted the majority of the trees that were planted in West Virginia this year.
When we got the first fruits, when we saw the burrs on our first tree after 9 years of labor, planting and seeing them die, and then we see those burrs, we were so excited. We took pictures. It was like a photo shoot for this chestnut tree. But that culmination of seeing something happen, that it's not just about clearing away dead trees and planting new trees, we actually have made progress.
If you want to join our American Chestnut group, come to the Scouts and sign up right now. The American Chestnuts need more people and more help than you ever expected.